Hi, everybody. Welcome to the 9th episode of Serani Sembang here on the World Live Webcast. I'm Vernon Adrian Emong, and today is the 9th episode of Serani Sembang, the webcast, since I started, 9 weeks ago. And quite interestingly, 9 weeks is an interesting concept or a fascinating coincidence that today is the day we celebrate the day of the Assumption, okay? And if among us Serani people, many of us are Catholics, and there is this idea of novena, which is a 9-week devotion to Our Lady. And on this 9th week, I've actually landed smack on the day of when the Serani people first arrived in Penang 234 years ago. And isn't that such an amazing coincidence? Maybe even serendipity, maybe even, I don't know, it's quite incredible that, this coincidence, this thing that has happened is, amazingly, so maybe, I don't know, maybe God is telling me something, that I'm on a good thing, I'm doing something that's worthwhile, I don't know. Well, you can tell me and give me feedback on the threads either on YouTube or on Facebook, so because it is, an episode where I would like to commemorate the 234th anniversary of the Assumption Day landing of our Serani people in Penang. I thought I would actually bring along guests who come from that community. And today I will be featuring two guests, one of which will be in a preview, and then I will be loading up the YouTube podcast later. But today, right with me, I have someone with me who's very special. The first guest who will be on that podcast will be Trevor Sibbett, who is located in Penang, and we did a pre-recorded podcast. In fact, it was yesterday, I believe, when we did the podcast, and that will be launched after this show. But for this evening, thank you for joining us, and thank you for joining us to meet with somebody who's very special. He is Retired Lieutenant Colonel Clifford Baptist. We are actually in his home right now because Clifford, or Cliffy, as we are all, we all call him, Uncle Cliffy, right? Lives in Kajang and is not too familiar with all this web technology. So welcome, Clifford, Uncle Cliffy.
Thank you, and thank you very much.
Yeah, and Clifford was actually one of the veteran members of Serani Sembang when we began. Well, almost 20 years ago, right? You joined us. Do you know which year you joined us?
89.
1989. Wow. So that's even like 21 years ago.
Exactly.
Wow. Incredible. So would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself, Clifford?
Well, first of all, let me thank you very much to Vernon and your team, your special team, I would say. I want to mention this specifically for this time,
right?
Because you all are doing a wonderful job at the second attempt of reuniting the Eurasians, among Malaysia, as well as Southeast Asia, and also other countries as well. I must say, especially for Vernon and your strong arm, Vincent Bedwill, the late Averill also, who's our genealogist.
Yes.
And you all have brought together many families who otherwise might not even link or know they are linked up and connected. Starting with Serani Sembang, 20 years ago.
Yes, 20 years ago. And, do you remember how you got onto the site?
Somebody asked me whether I knew the site or not.
Right.
So at that time, as usual, I did not know how to go in.
Right.
So my son helped me, my second son, he helped me get in. And he was using his web name, so people were confused. So they asked me, now which is this the father or the son? And I must say, Averill guided me. And once I went in, it took me about 6 weeks
Okay.
to 6 to 8 weeks to get so used to the site until it automatically carried on like a chit chat and gossip and real sembang
Real Sembang, real Serani Sembangs from all over the world,
all
right?
over the world.
Yeah. We
link up with so many people now.
Yeah, we had Gabriel Pascual who was in Sweden, and we had lots of other Serani people in Australia. One of whom you mentioned to me recently. Would you like to talk about this lady?
We call her Mama Sita,
Right.
and she's Miss Jens. She's now over almost 90 years old, and in Melbourne, in the home of the aged.
Right.
She was a real backbone of the site, providing all the humor. And from her, everybody started being a humorist. Otherwise, it was just very funny.
She was quite a live wire, posting almost every day, sometimes several times a day.
Several times a day.
All the way from Melbourne, Australia.
Yes, replying to almost every posting.
And remembering everybody's birthday as well. I mean, like we had, at the height of our activity, I think Serani Sembang, the website, had about, at least 300 active members. So can you imagine 300 active members almost every day? Yeah, coming onto the site. So it was quite an amazing hive of community, right?
Very hive and very lively also.
Yeah, and that's the reason why I have kept at this, because I've realized how important this sense of community and togetherness and goodwill among even strangers, people who kind of like stumbled onto the sites.
And they joined up with us. And they were also very, very active in the end. Yes.
Well, thank you for, joining us. I'd like to kind of like, as I usually do with all our guests, what we do is we, talk a little bit about their background. So you are Clifford Baptist and you were with the Armed Forces. Tell us a little bit about how you ended up in the Armed Forces.
Actually, it was to make a long story short or a short story long. I joined the Armed Forces straight from school. One day, somebody invited me to attend a talk given by a few officers.
Right.
And of course, in our school, XXI that time, St. Xavier's Institution, we already had 2 army officers whom I knew very well from politicos, in fact.
Okay.
They are the Johnson brothers, Raymond and Edwin.
Okay, I remember Uncle Raymond Johnson. Yep, he was in the army.
Correct.
Yeah. So he was instrumental in getting you to join us.
Almost instrumental and influenced me because he was my senior in school.
Right.
So when I attended the talk, I submitted my names, hoping hardly to ever be called for an interview. A month later, I was given a notice to appear in Kuala Lumpur.
Right.
For an interview.
Oh wow!
So you can imagine.
What year was this?
In 1961.
Okay.
So with the interview being called, I found out later that there were about 200 of us from the whole of Malaysia for this selected interview session. And in KL, when I first arrived on the first day, KL had no highway at that time.
Yes.
The only highway was the overhead pass near the railway station.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, can you imagine the development and the progress it was done from that time until now?
Yeah. Wow.
And the first.
So this was your first arrival in Kuala Lumpur.
Kuala Lumpur.
And once again, what year was this?
This was in 1961.
The year I was born. So that's
smaller world.
All these coincidences. Okay.
And the first person I met at the place of interview, you'll be very surprised, also historical.
Who?
Ozzy Pascual.
Oh, wow.
And he was a corporal in the signals, and he was residing and staying next door to the barracks. Now, can you imagine? I knew him when I was a little boy from age 7.
Okay, so this Ozzy Pascual, tell us a little bit more about Ozzy.
Ozzy was the brother of Oswald Pascual, and we all grew up virtually in Kampong and in Butterworth.
Okay.
So I knew the whole family. So it's a real coincidence. And I knew Oswald was in the army, but I didn't know which corps, where he stayed, where was he posted,
Right.
until he saw my name and he purposely came and wished me well.
Mhm.
And I must say it was a historical event also.
Okay. And then so what happened? You took part in the interview.
The
You got
interview
accepted.
was rather intense. Out
Mhm.
of 200 of us, only 24 were selected. So can you imagine
Wow.
the progress and the stress?
Yeah.
Every day seeing the names being dropped from
Oh,
the interview
wow.
one by one until 24 left.
So how long did that process take?
It took 2 weeks.
Wow, 2 weeks of but sitting on the edge of your seat wondering whether you'd get through.
More than the edge of the seat, I think on fire.
How old were you then?
I was about 17.
17 years old. Wow. And where exactly was this being held? Which army barracks in KL?
In Imphal Camp, Ministry of Defense.
Okay.
And later in my career, I served in the same camp.
Okay.
So
Right.
it's all historical because I'm a historical chap and I
Yeah,
like
you're a
history.
buff,
I
yeah.
love history so much.
Yeah, excellent. Okay. And then so what happened? I mean, you got accepted, 24 out of 200 over.
So
You-
24 of
Mhm.
us were finally shortlisted and
Yeah.
selected and approved. So we reported in January 1962,
Okay. Okay.
Sungai BC.
Right.
That time was the Federation Military College,
Okay.
FMC.
Mhm.
And in fact, our batch, until today, only half left.
Mhm.
The rest have already departed this world. So the rest are waiting for our turns.
Right. Okay. I just want to ask you. So, were you perhaps maybe one of the first Serani boys from? Okay, so it was Oswald, Ozzy Pasquale.
Ozzy Pasquale.
Yeah,
There
and
were a few.
You mentioned
Serani boys.
Raymond Johnson.
But officers-wise, there
Yeah.
were Raymond and his brother Edwin.
Okay,
They were already
both in
officers.
army. Okay, both
at that
officers.
time.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow.
So I was the most junior at that time,
Mm-hmm.
a cadet.
Okay.
So it took. In fact, our batch was the last batch to be trained by the British or under the British
I see.
before they left.
Right. Okay.
So we got the best of both worlds,
Mm-hmm.
and the training was very, very tough.
Mm-hmm.
But we managed to overcome
Okay.
as what we are trained to do.
Okay.
But I can still remember the first night
Mm-hmm.
with all the ragging and the noise and the pandemonium. I was crying, literally tears dropping on
Really?
the boots, which I was told to polish like a mirror. Now, can you imagine a
Wow.
dull rubber boots looking like a mirror?
Wow.
So I almost gave up and almost ran off.
Really? Yeah.
But we persevered. We cried, a lot of tears,
Mhm.
a lot of sweat, and
Yep.
a few drops of blood, I would say.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But after 2 years, we completed our training and
Mhm.
we were commissioned
Yeah.
into the forces and we joined as regular cadets.
Right.
And first year was a junior year
Mm-hmm.
where we were under the seniors.
Mm-hmm.
And the second year, we were the seniors and controlling the whole of the cadet wing.
Right.
After working hours,
Mm-hmm.
it was all run by ourselves. We managed ourselves and we control ourselves
Mm-hmm.
and we were led by ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And for 2 years, which is quite a historical event also,
Mm-hmm.
I was the president of the mess committee or PMC,
Mm-hmm.
in charge of the cadets from the time cease work at 4 o'clock
Right.
right until the next morning.
Okay. Before they start their training. So
Before we
during the
started.
off
And
training hours.
they were all under my control.
Right.
And
Okay.
can you imagine the comradeship was built up
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of friendship was built up until today.
Right. Okay, that explains. You've had a lot of practice in terms of being the glue to a community of people.
Oh,
So
yes.
because that's what
So
you do.
It's all until now is happening right up to today. I hope it will not end until we also depart from this world.
Yeah, well, you're doing a great job. Yeah, for
Thank
those,
you.
yeah, for those of us who are still kind of like stumbling into the website, which is on the Spock.com web app, you will actually see a lot of postings by Uncle Clifford here, and yeah, he does prove that he's very much a history buff on that website. I think he posts almost every other day, if not every day, right?
almost every
Yeah,
other day.
and you
there's a
comment. Yeah, and you
and
comment.
I learn a lot also.
Yeah, and you comment a lot on postings by various other people. So you share a lot of what you know, and that's really, really, really generous.
Here, I must thank our favorite Mr. Jerry DeWitt.
Okay, he's sending
in
out a
Perth.
cheerio to Jerry DeWitt.
Hi,
Yeah.
hi Jerry. Take care.
Yeah. Okay. Well, before we carry on, I just want to go back to the whole idea that we're having you here because this is the 234th anniversary of Serani, of the Assumption Day landing of the first Serani community in Penang, and Uncle Clifford here was actually from that community. So we'll be showing pictures of his family as well as pictures of Kampung Serani itself, right? Yeah. So, but before that, what I want to do is I want to play a preview of the interview that I had with Trevor Sibbett, right? And I want to do that because I want people to remember that this little podcast with Trevor Sibbett will actually be presented later. I will actually load it up after this program so that people can actually get to know Trevor and the kind of heritage stuff that he does in Penang, to actually preserve and conserve the incredible multicultural composition of what goes on in Penang, the melting pot of cultures and races and religions and stuff. So let me do that after this particular commercial break, I suppose. We'll be back. Hi, so here we are on the 9th episode of Serani Sembang, the World Live Webcast. And it's the day when you could say we commemorate the 234th anniversary of the first Serani community to arrive on the island of Penang. And we are going to speak with a gentleman whom I was very pleased to have met about maybe a year ago at the Penang Heritage Trust. And his name is Trevor Sibbett. Hi, Trevor.
Hi, Vernon.
How are you?
For having me on the show. I'm very well, thank you. Yourself?
I'm very well. I'm very, very well. Ever since you helped me with my Mercedes-Benz. So Trevor is a Mercedes-Benz. Yes. And he located a part for me in Penang and sent it to me during the MCO, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, when my car kind of like cocked it. And you managed to find a part for me and sent it over. And now Boris, my Mercedes-Benz, is moving along quite well. So, Trevor.
Very good to hear that. Yeah.
Yeah, very happy for that help. Thank you so much. Yes, Trevor. So, yeah, you are part of the Serani community, mom and dad, Seranis, in Penang.
Yes.
Part of the original community that set up even Kampung Serani in Pulau Tikus in Penang in the early 1800s, I think. Yep. And so tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. I'm Trevor Sibbett.
Yep.
I'm a Eurasian or Serani, as you all know.
Yep.
So I was born in the mid-80s, let's put it that way.
Right. Okay. So you're so you would be a Generation X, Gen X.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're a heritage enthusiast.
Yes, I am. Yeah.
Okay. Before we go into that, as we always do here on Serani Sembang, we kind of like talk a little bit about family, right?
Okay.
And so I'd like for us to kind of like look at your family. You've got this picture is cousins of yours from the Jeremiah and Rose families. So
yes,
a lot of kind of like Serani families, this community married into each other, And so we have the Jeremiah and Rose families, which are also, you could say, stalwarts of the Serani community, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And then you're here with your mom and your maternal
My
aunts and uncle.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Your mom is there. If I can bring the cursor, here she is, and her name is
Audrey Westwood.
Okay, Audrey Westwood, who married your dad,
Anthony
Anthony
Sibbett.
Sibbett, the famous Dr. Anthony Sibbett, whom we shall see shortly. Yeah, here I am doing the octopus thing. Okay, dad and mom, Dr. Anthony Sibbett, and Datin Audrey Westwood, with your siblings. And your siblings are, this is your brother, Hans.
Yeah, I have an elder brother, Hans.
Yeah, yeah.
We have like a 12-year age gap between us.
Okay.
And then I'm in the middle, a middle child, as they call it.
Yeah.
And I have a younger sister, Maxine.
Yeah, whom I've also met. Yes. Yeah.
She's 1 year age difference with me.
I see. Okay. And this is over here is your sister-in-law, right?
Yeah, Adele Gregory. Yeah.
Okay, a Gregory. So another Serani family there, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Wonderful. Okay. So tell us about your family. I mean, like, you know, you are part of this, you could say, very well established Serani family in Penang. Okay.
So
how do you feel about being Serani in Penang? Maybe you'd like to share with us. Okay, so that was a little preview of the interview, which actually kind of like happened at the cliffhanger moment, isn't it?
Exactly.
So that was kind of interesting. Yeah. So here we are with Clifford Baptist, retired Lieutenant Colonel Clifford Baptist from the Malaysian Armed Forces, who is a somebody who came from the original Serani community that arrived in Penang 234 years ago on a ship that was, you could say, captained by Sir Francis Light, correct?
He was in charge, yes. But it's most interestingly, they landed in Penang actually about 50 to 100 years before that. But there was no publicity. But they were living along the coast of Penang.
Right.
And they had relations as far up in Phuket. They call it Jang Salon those days.
Right.
And even in Bangkok.
Okay.
It was called Ayutthaya those days.
Yeah. And when you say that 50 years before this landing, they were in Penang, you are meaning the mainland, right?
In Penang itself.
The island itself.
The island itself.
So,
and there were a community of fisher folk.
Okay.
And we call themselves, actually they were Portuguese Eurasians.
Okay. Right.
And Thai Eurasians, mostly from Phuket, who
Okay.
settled down in Politicus.
Right.
And along the coast, and they were doing fishing and supplying goods and services to all the trading ships. And you will be surprised that they came to later. Their own relations came to Penang,
Right.
in
Okay.
batches until it was officially founded out and established by Captain Francis Light in 1786.
When you say established by Francis Light, you mean that he kind of like
Founded.
when you say founded, does it mean that it's documented to say we have arrived?
We have
But
arrived.
before
And,
that, other people that arrived, and
yes.
but it was
yes.
never documented, I guess.
Never.
Yeah.
That's exactly what is history about.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
what's documented and what isn't. Right.
Most of it is not taught even in the record books or not taught in the schools.
Right. Yeah.
But you have to really dig and research, and that's what I like doing
Okay. And this is what you uncovered.
and uncovered.
Wow.
And you know that the place called Tanjung Tok Kong itself,
Right.
there were about 40 Chinese immigrants who were
Right.
staying there and who built the temple at Pagan Jermal.
Okay.
And they were staying next to a Malay kampong,
Right.
and you could easily control these both Chinese, Malays, and even the Seranis along the beach
Yeah.
by just a single cannon
Okay.
located on the top of Tanjung Tok Kong Hill.
What do you mean by say control?
Or you put the fear into them not to
is it?
do anything unlawful.
Okay. That was how. Okay.
Whoever controlled the cannon controlled them.
I see. Okay. Interesting. What else have you dug up in terms of like that first landing? I mean, like, do you know, what might have happened?
They all lived peacefully. There were no
Mm-hmm.
quarrels.
Mm-hmm.
But the only problem is there were a lot of pirates along the
Right.
coast.
Okay.
It was very famous in our waters those days.
Okay. Where did the pirates come from?
They came from normally Sumatra, Java,
Right.
and they settled along the coast, robbing every ship they could find and they
Right.
could capture.
Right.
And they were in fact, the person who helped the British after Francis Light,
Mm-hmm.
the British administrators to rid the whole problem of piracy, we call
Right.
them the Lanuns,
Right.
was called Captain Pintu, Pintu.
Okay.
And he was a Eurasian seafarer
Mm-hmm.
working on his own. And he contracted himself to the governor of Penang,
Right.
who ordered him, okay, do it. And he cleared the whole problem. That's why Penang
Was able
expanded.
was able to progress.
Yes. If
Okay.
not for the pirates, nobody will come to Penang.
So you could say that this Pinto fella might have been quite instrumental in making Penang a
Safer
to
place.
live and do business.
But still, he's not recognized properly as what should be.
Wow, we need to dig up more information about
Exactly,
him,
yes.
and because that would really give our community some kind of like a role model.
Role model,
Yeah.
yes. And
Okay.
in fact, we as Eurasians also
Mhm.
provided what you call role models right through its history.
Right.
And there were a lot of British advisors,
Mm-hmm.
and also
You mean our people, us the Serani people,
the Serani people,
advised
yes,
the British?
advised the British,
Okay.
and were employed by the British to be the middlemen,
Right.
or
Yeah.
supernumerary, they call it,
Okay.
to look after the
Mhm.
local inhabitants,
Right,
whether it's
yeah.
Chinese
Yeah.
from China,
Mhm.
and there were a lot of groups that time
Mm-hmm.
from India,
Mm-hmm.
from Arab,
Mm-hmm.
from Java, from
Mhm.
Sumatra, and from the rest of the Malay Peninsula.
Right. So because I guess any human being in Penang would have come from somewhere else, it being an island.
Correct,
So as the influx of all these visitors who ended up becoming inhabitants and then eventually becoming residents, so the management of such diversity would have been quite challenging.
Very, very true. But
Mm.
the other bit of history I dug up
Right.
through my poring over
Yeah.
20 over years of study and research
Yeah.
is that Captain Francis Light was not the first English sailor to land in Penang.
Wow. Who was
It
it?
was
then?
Captain James Lancaster
Okay.
in 1530. Just
Right.
imagine. He landed in Penang,
Right.
but he didn't stay long. But he
Couldn't deal with the pirates. That's why he left.
probably, and he was a pirate himself.
Well, there you go.
So he robbed as much ships as possible
Yeah. Yeah.
from all the sections, even the pirates. And
Well, I guess, at that swashbuckling era in human history, everybody was, for himself. And in fact, even Francis Light was actually labeled as a pirate by the local Malayans, right? In
Then-
fact, one of his sons has the middle name of Lanun.
Lanun Light, his
Yeah.
second son,
Yeah, the second son.
who was actually
Which means-
the name Lanun.
Mhm.
Francis Light named him Lanun because Captain Francis Light used his troops and army,
Mm-hmm.
very few number,
Mm-hmm.
to help the Sultan of Kedah destroy a Lanun fort on Prai.
Right.
And in return, the Sultan agreed to give him Penang, to cede Penang Island to him. So in honor, he named his second son Lanun.
Yes. Okay, so now
Isn't
that's
that-
the backstory to that. Now, this is so interesting. I'm so very happy to have got you here with me. And I'm also very happy that we're doing this side by side, because usually, it's done with me in my home and, guests elsewhere around the world. But here I am sitting next to Clifford Baptist, retired Lieutenant Colonel Clifford Baptist, who is such a history buff. He's sharing with us stuff that I didn't even know about. So that's really wonderful. Right. So let's go back to this particular, let me see if I can do this. Yeah. Okay. Oops. Yeah. What I want to do is I'd like to, take our viewers through your history, so to speak. So this is your family currently, right?
That's my family.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
you will see my wife,
Mm-hmm.
our children.
Yes.
At the
This is you
home.
here, right? This is, let me see if I can do this right. This is you
Yeah,
here,
that's
right?
myself,
Okay,
yes.
right, okay. And
On my left is my mother.
okay,
my
this is your
late
mother. And her name is
Maisie.
Maisie, and her
Carrier.
Carrier. Okay, so she's the carrier connection in your
Carrier,
family.
yes.
Okay, right. And which one is your wife is here? This one is that? No, what?
Where's my wife? That's one.
This
correct.
one, the pink with the pink.
Next to my sister.
Okay, okay. This is your sister, and her name is
Priscilla.
Okay, Priscilla Baptist. Okay,
Baptist, and
your wife's name. What is her name?
Mary Farida.
Mary Farida. Okay, and okay. Tell me from left to right. Who is this here?
That's my eldest daughter.
Okay.
Farah.
Farah. Okay, and then.
That's my second daughter.
Okay. And her name is
Fuziana.
Fuziana. Okay, and this is your wife, Mary Farida, right? And this here.
That's my son.
Mm-hmm.
Jeffrey.
Jeffrey. Okay, Jeffrey, and over here.
One of the cousins.
One of your cousins. Okay, this gentleman
That's
here.
Harold.
Harold, who is?
Harold Dutton.
Okay, who is?
My sister's husband.
Okay, her husband,
Actress.
right? Yeah, Maisie's husband.
Priscilla's husband.
Sorry, Priscilla. This is Priscilla, right?
Yeah. That's his daughter.
Okay.
Geraldine.
Yeah. Okay, Geraldine. And over here, this is another son of yours, right?
That's Patrick or
Okay.
Hisham.
Hisham. Okay.
My second son.
Okay. And these
These
kids
are all youngest grandchildren.
Your grandchildren. Okay, lovely. Now, what I really love about this picture is this multi-religious, multi-racial, the beautiful kind of like a Serani-ness of it all. there's the picture of Jesus Christ in the background, right? And then there's a whole community of family members, who are obviously very close to each other, and it's actually a really such a stunning picture of family love and understanding and stuff like that. It's beautiful. Until today, fantastic. Yes, I just
As you
met
know,
you.
I married in 1980.
Right. Yeah.
After had conversion.
Yes. Yeah.
And
1980.
1980.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So that would be 40 years ago. Today, yeah.
Because my sons are all gray hair by now.
Okay. Yeah, 1980. Yeah, 2020. So 40 years ago. Fantastic. Okay. And let me get to the next slide. The next slide is okay. Now this is Penang relatives.
These are my first cousins, second cousins.
Right. Okay. Who's the gentleman sitting in the middle?
He passed away already.
Yeah. Who is he?
I cannot remember his name.
You can't remember his name. Okay, but your family is here. It's McIntyres and Carrier. So it's your mother's side of the family, right?
Carriers are the mother's side.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. And I can see, the rainbow spectrum of skin complexions, which is so familiar and commonplace in Serani families. Yeah. Okay.
The skin actually reflects where they come from.
Yeah. Of course. Yeah. 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 Okay, let me see if I can. What am I doing here? I need to. I'm disorientating myself. I want to change. Okay, the slide here. Great grandfather James.
That's my grandfather.
Yeah. Which one is your grandfather? Which boy? The one in the middle?
This one.
Oh no, it says here great grandfather James Aloysius Carrier.
Oh, the great grandfather of my children. Yeah.
Ah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
My grandfather.
Oh, he's your grandfather. Okay.
And on his right is my grandma.
Okay, on his right.
Sorry, on his
left.
left
Yeah.
is
Okay.
my grandma.
This lady here. And this grandma, her name, do you remember?
Her name was Hilda.
Hilda.
Hilda Jeremiah.
Okay.
You can call her Hilda Baptist, but she was adopted by the Baptist family.
Okay.
And her origins are from Jang Salon or Phuket.
Okay. So she actually came from Phuket.
Phuket.
She was born in Phuket.
She was born in Phuket.
Right.
That's why her name in her document is Sherry.
Okay.
CHRI.
Also known as Hilda Cherry. Okay. And Cherry is of what origin, the name?
Thai.
I see. Okay. Okay. So she had Thai
blood.
Thai blood. Okay. Yeah. And so this is your Baptist link, basically. She was adopted by the Baptist
family.
Right. Yep. And the other people in the photograph, which one is your dad?
My dad is not in. My mother is in. Right at the bottom. Right at the top.
Right at the top. This is your mother.
That's
sorry.
mother.
Your mother. This is your.
She's the eldest
maternal.
in the family.
Okay. Yeah.
My grandfather's family.
Yep.
His eldest daughter, my mother.
Yes.
Her sister, Adeline, on my
this one.
grandfather's right. Yes.
Yeah. Adeline.
Who married Gregory.
Okay. Fantastic. And the two boys are your uncles,
my
right?
uncles. Uncle Emil.
Emil.
All passed away. Emil and Uncle Bani, the youngest.
Right. Okay. Wow.
My grandfather was a waterworks engineer in Kedah, Sungai Petani.
A waterworks engineer.
Waterworks.
So he helped build reservoirs and do the piping and stuff.
The reservoirs.
Right.
Make sure everybody got clean water.
Right. Okay. And this is, you sent me this. I wanted to ask you. Obviously, this man is because you say a relative, but obviously, you connected with him and discovered your carrier roots or something.
They are one of the 4 or 5 carrier brothers.
Right. Okay.
Who are related. His father related to my grandfather.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
And until today,
there
is a road, or there was a road in Ipoh,
right,
named Jalan Carrier.
Okay.
I hope they maintain it today until today. It was named after one of my grand-uncles, who was also an engineer, mining engineer.
Right.
And he was called Jalan Carrier. Very interesting.
Okay, Jalan Carrier. Okay, now I want to move on to the next slide. When I do this, I think the screen kind of goes off a little. Okay. What Eurasians looked like 1800s and 1900s.
This is how they dress.
Yeah.
And the style of posing and what each wore.
Okay.
Ladies, girls.
Do you know who is in this photograph?
Oh, this one I've just taken from a historic record.
It looks like it's from a magazine that commemorates Penang past and present, December 1999. So this magazine, The Origins of Penang, was produced 21 years ago, and you kept it because it reminded you of
something. Yes.
Yeah. You don't know who those people are in the picture, right?
You cannot trace their names because no names were given.
Okay, and I'm sure that you would have picked it up.
Yes.
So if anybody knows who these people are, it'll be really good to get some information so that we can, credit it when we use the picture. Okay. This one, Louis Bernard Carrier.
That's my grandfather's father.
Okay, so when you say, because I changed the captions you sent me, so actually those captions were meant for your children, I think. So actually this is your great-grandfather and your children's great-great-grandfather, correct? Right, okay. Born in Penang, Carrier. Do you know much about him? Like what did he do? And
as usual, our parents and our grandparents never told us anything.
Right. Yeah.
Next to nothing about our previous ancestors.
Yeah.
Either we asked them or we pleaded with them.
Right.
And bits and pieces would come out.
Yeah.
So what I learned personally from my grandfather was that he was in the sailing.
Okay.
Sailing occupation.
Okay.
And
shipping
line.
You can say, yeah.
And he had some brothers of his
who
were doing rice milling in, now we call Indochina.
Okay.
But it was that time Cochin China. The Carrier brothers.
Right. The Carrier brothers. And you mentioned he was born. So how big was his family?
Quite big. There were a few brothers who came to the east,
Right. Mm-hmm.
and they originated actually from a place called Lyons in France,
Okay.
their hometown.
Lyon, Lyon, right?
Lyon,
Yeah, Lyon, which is in central France, if I'm not mistaken, because I think I've
Yes.
been there, right? Okay, so this Louis Bernard Carrier okay. So this is the man, and here he is with his family, correct?
Yes, and you can see that his wife
Mm-hmm.
was I think is from Thailand.
Right, because of a
also.
dressing.
Leandros, yes.
Right. So she was a Valentina Leandros, as it says here, dressed in something that looks like is Siamese or of that region, right? And their children. Okay, so wonderful. So he was born in Penang, Louis Bernard Carrier,
yes.
and his wife came from Phuket.
His wife's from
Valentina
Phuket.
Leandros. Okay, and this picture, do you think is in Penang itself? Was taken in Penang?
In Politicus, yes.
Oh, in Politicus itself. And do you know who?
When the camera was first introduced, I think they took.
Right. Yeah, 1897. Wow. And do you know the people in the picture?
No idea at all,
Okay.
except for the two
Yeah.
Valentine Leandros,
Okay.
who's got a name linked to Leandros Lane in Penang.
Right. Okay. The family has a lane there. Yeah. Okay. Excellent. Moving right along. The Baptist family. So this is
Exactly. This is my family.
yes.
You can see my grandfather,
Yes.
my grandmother.
This is your grandfather.
Yes.
This is your
my
grandmother. Okay. And okay. So your grandfather here is a Baptist.
But my grandfather Carrier,
Oh, sorry. This is your paternal side once again. Are we?
paternal,
Yeah. Paternal.
paternal side.
Okay. Okay. No, Carrier.
Carrier.
Okay. Carry on. Yep. And then
Sorry, maternal side.
maternal side. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Because your mother was a Baptist, right?
Yes.
Is Maisie Baptist.
Maisie Carrier.
Mary
me
Carrier,
Baptist.
knee Baptist. Yeah. Okay.
That's his family.
Okay. Right. And this is his family.
His family of all his children who are married. Those
I
who are
see.
not married are the two behind him,
Yep.
Uncle Emil and Uncle Bunny.
These two. These
Yes.
two. This one and this one?
This one, yes.
Okay. Okay. And
On extreme right
Mhm.
is my father.
extreme right.
Right.
Which one? Over here.
Yes.
Here. Okay.
Edmund Anthony Baptist.
Yeah.
And extreme left is Norman Gregory.
Over here.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
his wife is Edlin.
Okay. Which is here.
Yes.
Okay.
With their children and
Mm-hmm. Okay.
our children.
Wonderful. The Baptist family. And you say your father. My father as a boy. My father as a boy. Extreme rights. Extreme rights would be here. No. Yeah. This one. Right. Oh, here. I see. And his
That's
father.
my father.
This is your father.
That's my father.
Okay. And this is your mom.
That's my mom.
Okay, I
And
get
on
it
her
now.
left is that's me.
On her left, this is you.
That's me.
Oh, I should have put a big circle around it. Okay. This is Uncle Clifford Baptist, retired Lieutenant Colonel Clifford Baptist, at the age of
6 or 7 years
6 or
old.
7 years old, in Penang, Georgetown, in a photo studio for a family portrait. How lovely.
Celebrating the 25th anniversary of my grandfather's marriage.
Oh, wow. Okay. Okay. Lovely. Right. Moving right along. This one is very interesting.
This photo is my father's father
Right.
on the extreme
Okay.
Right.
This one?
Martin Baptist.
Martin, your father's father.
My
So-
grandfather
okay.
on my
So
father's side.
Yeah, so people please ignore the captions because I got it wrong because when I took the captions from what you had sent, but that was actually meant for your children. So we've actually added another generation to this. So actually it's your grandfather, Martin Lawrence Baptist. Born Telok Anson, 1872, died 1948 with his first wife, Ann Peterson. So that's your connection to the Peterson.
Peterson family.
Okay, I see. And was this also taken in Georgetown?
If you look at the flooring of the studio,
Right.
it's exactly the same as the previous photograph of my grandfather's.
Oh, okay.
They had the same photograph at the same
Photo studio.
photographer and a studio stall.
Okay.
Apparently, they all had only one or two photograph stalls,
Right.
shops
Yeah.
in Penang. So
Okay.
everybody flocked to them.
Right. So these people were kind of like, the preserver of memories. Unlike now, where everybody's taking photographs.
Everybody's never go to a photographer shop now. They own cameras.
But now also photographs are not as treasured as before because it's all digital and out there. Sometimes you don't even print it. Yeah.
True.
Okay. So this picture.
This is in Politicos.
Right.
In the 1920s.
Okay.
Before I was born.
Okay. In the 1920s, before you were born, can you tell us when again you were born? Was it your year?
I was born 20 years after this.
So in 40s.
1947.
1947. Okay, 1947. So that makes you 73 this year. 73 years old. Okay, amazing. Do you know who belongs to this house?
This belongs to the Carrier's.
Okay.
One of the Carrier's.
Okay, Carrier's house. Sorry. I'm looking at doing an octopus, so I'm kind of like, not looking at the screen. Okay, so you sent this where the early Serani first settled in Penang, right? In 1735 and 1786 along the beach in thatched houses, fleeing from religious persecution and Burmese invasions.
This is the beach where they settled.
Okay, this is the beach where they settled.
And now it's so developed,
yes.
You can't even recognize anything.
Okay, is this Gurney Drive?
Gurney Drive, exactly.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. Amazing. Lovely. Okay. Moving right along. Okay. You sent this oldest St. Xavier's Institution school staff photo.
You can see a lot of duration.
Yeah, 1903. The picture's not very good, but if you're looking at it, it's a lot of Eurasians. Some of the names, can you would you?
Some are Capel.
Yeah, Capels.
Areas.
Okay. Yeah.
But I don't know which one is.
Yeah, okay.
The names I know.
Okay, right. Capels and areas.
Foley's.
Right, and Foley's.
Cornelius. Area.
Right. Okay, this is Kampong Serani.
This I know very well because I grew up just opposite.
Wow, look at the trees.
Store. On the left is the store.
Okay.
It was taken in late 50s, early 60s.
Okay.
It's only the general store in Politicos.
Right.
Directly opposite Kuching Lane.
Okay. From this picture, where is the church? Because Kampong Serani was centered around a church, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
The church is exactly
behind this house on the left. Behind the store on the left. Right. So and you said that this road is?
This road is Burma Road.
Burma Road. Okay.
Going towards Politicos.
Going towards Politicos. Okay. Going towards the coast. Is that correct?
Towards Politicos and going towards town.
Towards town. So it is. So therefore, it's going inland.
Inland, but this road links the town
to the beach, to the coast. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So the church is behind this, and that was where all the Serani people lived around the church, right? The church area.
In fact, Philomena Peterson.
Yes, whom I hope is watching. Yeah.
Lives just behind this store.
Yeah, I'm going to have her on. Yeah, I'm going to have her on one day because she was also a veteran, is also a veteran member of Serani Sembang and quite a contributor of stories and stuff. Okay, moving right along. I think that's it. Those are our pictures that you kind of like passed to me. And yeah, so on this 234th anniversary of the official Serani landing on Penang Island with Sir Francis Light, is there any special message, Uncle Clifford, that you'd like to give our community?
I honestly hope that everybody from now on will start learning history because there's so much to learn.
Yeah.
And if you don't learn history, you cannot know what is happening and what is going to happen. history, as they say, likes to repeat itself.
Yeah.
And human beings always repeat themselves, no matter what the generation.
Yeah. Okay.
Only thing they use different types of
Tools.
tools.
Like we're using webcasts to
Yes.
share history. Okay. I want to, I started this 9 weeks ago. I just like to reiterate because I think there's some kind of like cosmic significance in this, and I just want to reiterate it again because I discovered it or thought about it on the drive to come here to do this with you, Uncle Clifford, because you live in Kajang and I'm in KL, and it's almost like a 1 hour drive,
Exactly.
through weekend
Heavy
traffic. Yep. So I had a lot of time to think, and when I remembered that it was the 9th week of Serani Sembang, falling on Assumption Day, the connection I made that it was my novena, my own personal novena. I was doing my own novena, and this is the 9th week, and it's the completion of, in a sense, my novena in devotion to my ancestral community.
Very historic.
Yeah. So like personally,
come true.
well, I just want for us to come around to the idea that there is a lot of fascination and magic in the diversity of humankind. And for me, I think Serani people, or even Eurasian people, I mean, like I'm getting a lot of comments about why am I doing this? Am I doing this to divide our community? No, I just want to call attention to the fact that we are so diverse and we have different ways of framing histories.
And linking histories.
And linking histories, and linking histories is very interesting because I do point out certain things that might seem to divide us, but I'm also looking for common ground, and I think that's also important, that we embrace both diversity and common ground,
Exactly.
and we celebrate each other's diversity. So I have no problems with people using the word Eurasian. I don't. It's just that my understanding is, Serani to Eurasian is like Hakka to Chinese.
Exactly.
So that is mainly my plea for understanding, and I hope I
fully agree with you. Fully agree. But as usual,
Mhm.
people like to pick and choose on the little insignificant things.
Yeah.
So they will always poke and make their point across. But sometimes their points are so way off history that they themselves don't know history.
Right. Yeah.
And they can only appreciate the diversity and strength.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I just like to do a shout out to Sheila Da Costa, the president of the Selangor and Federal Territory Eurasian Association, because their 200th anniversary, which is 200 years of SAFTI.
Also coming.
Yeah. It's they're celebrating it now, 200 years. And what is interesting is the slogan is unity in diversity. Basically there is an embracing of the diversity that is the Eurasian community, and
same like divided.
Yeah.
Divided we fall,
Mhm.
united we stand.
Yeah. And we need to embrace the diversity and look for that common ground, and move forward from there. Okay, Uncle Clifford, thanks so much for doing this. Anything else that you want to kind of like share with us?
I hope your second effort now.
Mm-hmm.
The first effort had to close because Serani Sembang closed down.
Right.
So this effort will.
No, it didn't close down. It just
transfer technology.
Yes. Yeah, didn't close down. We just pivoted.
And we wish you all success, Vernon.
Thank you so much.
Probably nobody has seen what you are doing. Very few know about it also. So I wish that it can spread very fast and very soon.
Yeah, well, it's always been a fascinating challenge, to do every show. But I learned so much, and I get to spend time with people like you. So very happy about that.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'll see you. Good health to you. I'm sure all our viewers and listeners will wish you good health and continued kind of like presence in our community to share with us everything that you know. Yeah, it'll be great to perhaps maybe have you later on. Maybe another 9 novenas. We'll have you back on.
Another 20 years more.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. See you then.
Thank you.
Okay.
And wish you all the best. You and your team. You are doing a wonderful job.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
So everybody, happy Assumption Day landing, 234 years. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. We are here signing out.